Yo, Big Kish back up in here. We about to get into this. How DJ Academic just ended his career by being the worst person by Fantastic Hip Hop. Y'all know how he give it up. He stay cooking, stay consistent, and we here for it all. We about to react to this video, y'all, because I know he got some gems in here that we haven't heard before. And that's why I like to react to this, because I know he gonna say something that I ain't heard. But yeah, we about to get into this, man. Y'all know I'm like holding y'all. Without further ado, let's get it.
Now, in this time and era in hip-hop, and really in general that we are in, we're over everything, the moment is being defined by finally seeing the truth come out. After one of the most tumultuous crash outs we have ever seen, which has been going on for months at this point, all of the anger, embarrassment, and immaturity has finally gotten to everybody's least favorite person, DJ Akademiks. And after trying to protect his image for so long and even defend—
Man, I tell y'all, we gotta keep our foot on his neck. He's too comfortable with getting away with this type of behavior because he's taking advantage of us being a forgiving people. So he just think like, oh, I'm gonna just keep dropping my little streams and they just gonna keep forgiving me. We need to keep talking about this, y'all. Seriously, man.
And his buddy Drake's as hard as almost any other grown man ever would from the lyrics and message that a record like Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us was saying. Ak has proved after all that, the fabled prophecy about all Drake fans being even more shallow and weird than he is actually true. And after all of the antics and every other lowlight we have been seeing Ak do routinely at this point, it is now starting to make more sense than it ever has of why he has been making such horrible choices. After trying to cover up his true nature for so long, Ak has finally failed at hiding just how weird, strange, and disgusting he really is. And while it's horrible to know that there are people out there who deep down inside really do think like we have all seen The Biggest Loser in hip-hop does, at least we know that with the reaction he is getting and with all of the backlash, which beyond just people being mad, the actual industry is beginning to cut ties with him, Ak's reputation, but more importantly to him, his entire career will never be able to come back from this. But now before we go any further, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And so now with DJ Akademiks, again, beyond just the absolute patheticness of this guy and the effects he has had on how we listen to and interact with music over the years, what has happened and what is now going to cause an actual shift and really a downfall in Ak's entire career, because now even the people who have kept him in a position of influence are stepping away, is just something that goes beyond the scope of anything that any of us would consider to be normal. Because of course what Ak is being rightfully called out by nearly everyone for, in all—
and he's not going to take accountability. You never going to hear him say, "Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I messed up in my head a little bit. What I thought, it ain't." You never going to hear none of that. All you going to hear is, see. Here's the thing. All right. So. That's my little bro. That's all you gonna hear, bro. Never no accountability.
All of its entirety, and especially considering the person that Ak has made his entire brand defending. It's one of the strangest and worst things you could possibly do. Because over everything, with Ak even being in a situation where he is talking to someone who he is more than double the age of, I mean, before you get into anything else here, to even put yourself in this position, you just have to be, and there is no other way to say it, such a loser to even be in the place where this is what you're doing and this is how you are spending your free time. And I mean, the more this clip is circulating and even some of Ak's biggest rivals in the past like Meek Mill are seeing this and laughing at him for a change, the more everything is going down the drain for him. Because for someone who is a kid, which we have all seen in the clips, have better judgment and be way more mature than someone who is a grown man in Ak, I mean, again, it just makes you question how anyone ever even allowed this Teletubby reject to even get the platform he did in the first place.
Yo, Teletubby reject is wild. Oh, man. Ooh. Teletubby reject. Oh, man.
And really with Ak, One of the things I found most telling about this entire moment, and yet nobody really seems to be talking about, is that when trying to push someone who he shouldn't even be talking to partake within a lifestyle that he should never be around,
Right.
Ak tried to make him think it's cool by saying this is what rappers have done and therefore it is okay to do. And now with Ak's reference group of MCs that he actually talks to being people like Drake, again, with Ak saying something like this, well, I don't think he realized it. He once again has accidentally exposed some of the horrors that are really going on behind the scenes in the industry, and is just showing that he thinks these things are alright because they are normalized by this strange corner of people that he aligns with. And now beyond this,
People that he aligned with, look, we got Lil Boom, we got 6ix9ine, we got Drake. Why do he like these people so much? They move in flocks. They move in flocks. They all got this one thing in common.
this moment, which out of all the different instances, and of course there are so many different lowlights we have seen from Akademiks reach over the years, this is without a doubt the worst one. In classic Ak fashion, he managed to drag things even deeper by taking all of the backlash he was getting and being exposed from, and not using all the criticism coming his way to maybe reflect on what he is doing and try to maybe even ask for forgiveness or just improve his actions so he is never in a weird situation like this. But instead of just doing anything near the right thing, Ak just used this time to crash out even more and really leave us with one of the most embarrassing clips he has ever given us, because in all of Ak's rage, he revealed and exposed even more about his true nature, which doesn't just include the fact that he doesn't think that he is wrong at all and that he will not apologize for it, but Ak also went on an even bigger tangent than we have ever seen by just letting all of this frustration out, and with every single thing he told us, while Ak was trying to defend himself and protect whatever credibility he still thinks he has left. All he did was expose more of what's going on in that mind of his, and from denying any sort of accountability, which just shows us more than ever what type of man he really is, to expanding this rant into so much more. And just like he did with Drake and LeBron James when he outed the weird things Drake was doing by trying to protect his image by accident, Ak ended up making things an even bigger mess than he already has by creating multiple beefs with other streamers and by dragging his good buddy Drake into things. Because with this moment, not just did Ak diss people like Plaqueboy Max because this was his friend after all, but he also said he is done with people like Kai Cenat as well, and that he's bigger than all of them and that he doesn't need them at all, which I'm sure is going to end up being another take of his that is just going to age horribly. But beyond just starting even more problems with streamers, in an attempt to try to flip the blame and try to make himself look like a victim, Ak really tried to not just sit there and convince all of us that the disgusting things we saw him say don't actually mean anything and that it's all a big overreaction, but he then also tried to shift the spotlight by saying it is only becoming the big deal that it is now because Kendrick Lamar fans are out to get him and prove that he is the horrible person that we all think he is, and just for Ak to try and even play.
Even if you was this stand-up guy that everybody liked, if you would have did that, we'd still be on your neck, boy. It don't matter. Ak saying like, oh, everybody hates me because I'm against Kendrick and I like Drake. That's why they're coming at me. No, bro. This ain't normal, bro. You don't talk like this to no young ball.
Play this narrative? Well, of course it's a given that Kendrick fans don't like you because, I mean, look in the mirror and look what you have rooted your identity in. Nobody did this to Ak but himself, and if he just acted calm and didn't create problems like these by going in strange situations and just acting weirder than anybody could ever expect, nobody would have anything to say. But again, we have all seen the clips, and it is clear that there is no running away from the reality that Ak has created here. Is that beyond trying to make this moment about his beef with the Kendrick Lamar community, Ak also dragged Drake into this whole thing by seemingly rambling about the fact that him and Drake are still cool, and despite what everyone else has been saying about their relationship coming to an end, that Drake is still standing by his side and that if it were any other way, we would know immediately. And as Ak tries to bring this moment full circle by stating that Drake and him are a part of this same group and now they are both having false narratives being created about them in order to end their careers and that they have never done anything actually wrong, I mean, altogether, with all the crying and complaining that Ak did in this all-time crash out, I think Ak did prove one thing, and that's that him and Drake probably still are friends, because for both of them to have this little self-awareness and to be so unable to read the room and just ever admit that you may just be in the wrong once after all Ultimately, it just shows why these two losers have been perfect for each other and for Ak. To just bring things to this point where he is getting exposed for doing the things that Kendrick Lamar rapped about on Not Like Us. And beyond just the initial controversy with a meltdown so bad that he has now brought Drake into things and now both of them look terrible as Ak is trying to say he's right, but of course we all know he is wrong. And really, with every time he opens his mouth and does something like this, it really just seems like even worse is going on that we don't know. All in all of this is just showing us how out of touch with reality DJ Akademiks really is. And now so far, because of everything Ak said here and this entire meltdown,
he's too high-minded. His pride has deceived him.
He had, which really didn't help his reputation in this controversy one bit, and in reality only put more eyes on the situation and gave him even more negative attention. Because of all of this, Ak is already starting to see the consequences of what happened, and he is realizing that his career will never be the same. Because when it comes to Ak's relationship with the entire music industry, which despite all the problems Ak brings, because of the platform he has, labels of course work with him a ton to help get artists and songs more exposure. It seems like a lot of the teams and labels that work with Ak no longer want to associate their artists with the disturbing image he is now projecting to the entire world. And it was even floating around that Playboi Carti was cutting ties with Akademiks after all of this, although this seems to be not true. But overall, with all of this happening at once, what we are really seeing more than ever is that Akademiks is in the worst place he has ever been. And he has really exposed the disgusting truth behind what act he has been trying to put up for so long. Right, and now with the entire world seeing Ak do something that is so bad, and yet he has no will to change or apologize and is only doubling down on his choices and is trying to deflect any accountability that he could possibly take. Overall, we are starting to see all of the lies and horrible things Ak built his entire career on start to fall, because even after all of the other questionable things he has done over the years, this specific moment is something that is undeniably strange and wrong. And because of how ultimately bad this is and how the reactions have been, and really they're only just getting worse from here, people are really starting to pull away from Ak, including labels that have made sure he has a career after all. And really for even Drake's place in all of this, as he is tied into this moment because Ak is trying to make this about Drake and Kendrick's beef, and really with how Ak was made by Drake and OVO to be their spokesperson, this is saying a lot about their entire circle. Overall, with all of this being out of the bag, what's starting to become oddly clear the more we are going forward is that for everyone around Drake, as we find out the truth behind weirdos like Ak, the lyrics Kendrick Lamar changed everything with on Not Like Us are becoming more true. And if this is what we already know so far, from Ak's downfall, which I'm sure will only get worse as he gets more backlash, to everything else going on with Drake as a whole, I don't know if anyone is ready to know just how horrible everything behind the scenes for these people really may be. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think about DJ Akademiks and this super strange moment?
I'll tell you what I think. He think that is normal. He think that what he said, and whoever that was on the phone with him, they said Tory Lanez's alleged manager or something like that. Whatever he said, he's so used to getting away with that, and he speaks so freely. Because you could tell when somebody used to something. They'll be around people. They don't care. They'll start to not care. At first, they'll care like, oh, let me keep that away from them. But then as they keep getting away with it, they just gonna be out in the open with it. And that's why he was so comfortable with talking to that young boy like that. That's why nobody ever held him accountable. He always was around people who approved of behavior like that. They all approved it, or they probably just down with it. Look, his homeboys, Lil Boom, 6ix9ine, and Drake. There you go. What do they got in common? These dudes really think they still in high school, bro. These are grown men, but they got high school minds. Like, they really think they still, like, it's crazy, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. Big Kish signing out. I'm gone, y'all.